Welcome, Bellumnoxis Prime listeners! Legion, you march with Bellumnoxis Prime. Subscribe and join the Legion, for the night of battle has begun. The valley does not sleep. It exhales dust and smoke as if the ground itself were alive, remembering every clash, every scream, every crown shattered upon its stones. The air tastes of iron. It burns the throat with ash. Even silence here feels like an enemy watching from the shadows. Before us spreads the valley of shattered crowns, a wound in the earth, deep and jagged, carved by centuries of war. Spears stand upright in the ground like rotted trees. Broken banners still cling to the wind, whispering in torn threads. Ancient helms, half buried, grin up from the soil like skulls that refuse to rest. Above us hangs a sky of black iron. Lightning rakes across it in slow, deliberate arcs. Each strike burns a moment into memory. A glimpse of siege towers in ruin. A glimpse of riders forming lines. A glimpse of smoke that reaches higher than the cliffs. The thunder does not roll. It marches, step by step, like another army approaching. Listen well. Hear the creak of leather harness as men tighten their armor straps. Hear the cough of a veteran clearing his lungs of dust before shouting war cries. Hear the drum beats, at first low and cautious, then louder, a tide building against the rocks. Horns answer from across the valley, hollow and haunting, carried by the storm, until every man knows the enemy has risen. Look upon their banners. They are no longer clean. They hang in tatters, stitched in haste, scorched by flame, darkened by years of blood. Some carry symbols unknown. Others carry marks that wound memory itself. A broken crown, a wolf's maw, a spear splitting a sun. Their colors are dull to shadow, yet still they fly. For a fallen banner means a broken will, and their will has not yet broken. The enemy moves as if pulled by one command. Chariots grind across the mud, wheels fitted with iron teeth. Siege engines sway on massive frames, dragged forward by beasts in chains. Beasts with brass-ringed eyes and hides burned by war. Riders sweep across the flanks in dust clouds, their faces hidden, their weapons glinting with every flash of lightning. Thousands march in unison, the rhythm of their steps drowning the valley's silence. And we, the Legion, we do not watch idly. Our own captains pace the line, testing shields, measuring spears, whispering last words into the ears of the young. A blacksmith's hammer rings as he fixes a dented helm, each strike sparking light against the gloom. A chaplain raises his voice above the wind, praying to gods that may not listen, but his words are enough to steady trembling hands. Horses snort and stamp, armored flanks quivering as if they too sense the storm about to break. See the ground beneath your feet. Every inch tells a story. Old footprints hardened into stone, overlaid by new ones pressed in mud. Arrows snapped mid-flight, still jutting from the soil. A cracked shield half buried, its crest worn away. Even a child's toy soldier, blackened by fire, left to sink into the dirt. War steals not only lives, but the memories of lives. The valley holds them all. The enemy commander waits on a high ridge, cloaked in storm-dark fabric, helm sealed like a mask, plume braided with bone, one arm raised, fingers tracing the circle of fate in the air. At their side stands the standard bearer, planting a pole into the rock, and with it comes a deep vibration, a hum that carries through the ground like the toll of a buried bell. Legion, breathe deep. The air is heavier now. The drums grow louder. The sky darkens further. Rain fights the fire in fits and starts, some drops hissing to steam, others running cold into the dust. A single pause remains before the first strike. The silence thickens until it feels like a weight across the chest. Men glance at one another, sharing a wordless truth. They will either lift each other from the earth today, or leave each other there. Then, a single drummer at the front raises his stick. He lets it fall. One sound, one heartbeat, and the valley tilts toward war. The valley tightens its grip. What was silence becomes a murmur. What was stillness becomes motion. The storm above bends lower, pressing upon the helmets of every warrior, as if the sky itself intends to crush the ground before the armies do. Scouts return with faces pale as ash. Their words tumble out, breathless and sharp. They have seen the enemy's numbers stretch across the horizon. A sea of iron, a wall of flesh, ranks upon ranks with no visible end. They tell of riders circling wide, of siege towers rolling on wheels taller than men, of hidden engines massed beneath tar and chain. And worst of all, they speak of the beasts, creatures not born of nature, armored hides etched with scars that gleam in lightning, mouths wide enough to swallow a man whole. The enemy has brought not only soldiers, but the nightmares that march beside them. Our captains listen in silence, eyes narrowing, jaws clenched. Then they move swiftly, voices firm, carrying orders down the lines. Shields are raised, spears are planted into the earth like roots preparing for the storm. Archers string their bows, testing the pull with steady breath. Lines are redrawn, and formations adjusted, not with panic, but with the precision of veterans who have seen the edge of death before. Alliances are tested in this hour. On our left flank stand mercenaries, hard-eyed men who fight for coin, not crown. They polish their blades with quiet indifference, glancing at our legion as though weighing the worth of comradeship. On our right stand the allied tribes, their warriors daubed in paint, their chants rising like fire to the storm. Their drums do not match ours. They beat faster, wilder, but together the sound fuses into a rhythm that shakes the very ground. Between these lines move the messengers, runners carrying words like fire from captain to captain. Each time one arrives, a ripple flows through the ranks. A hand signal here, a shouted command there. Shields lifted, spears lowered, torches lit, small sparks of motion that together shape the living organism of an army preparing to strike. Still, doubt whispers. Among the young, hands tremble. A boy no older than 17 kisses the edge of his sword, muttering a prayer he only half believes. A girl archer tightens the strap of her quiver so fiercely it cuts into her skin, blood welling where leather meets flesh. An old veteran removes his helm, stares at the storming sky, and spits defiantly, a gesture that says, "I will not kneel, not now, not ever." The enemy grows nearer. Their chants roll across the valley in deep, guttural waves. Words we cannot understand, yet we feel them in our bones. Each cry is a hammer, each syllable a strike upon the anvil of fear. And still they come, torches blazing in long lines, shadows stretching across the broken plain, their numbers multiplying with every flash of lightning. Our commanders answer, a horn sounds, low, drawn out, ancient as the earth itself. Another follows, sharper, a call to arms. Then the drums surge, not timid, not patient, but thunderous, filling the lungs of every soldier with the beat of war. Shields lock together with a sound like stone grinding on stone. Spears tilt forward, gleaming in the stormlight. Archers raise their bows, strings taut, eyes steady. Look to the center, there stands our commander, armor blackened, cloak torn by wind, greatsword planted into the earth before him. His eyes burn through the visor like embers, steady, unyielding. He raises his hand slowly, deliberately. The entire legion watches. No man breathes. No woman moves. The storm itself seems to lean closer to see what comes next. And in that stillness, the line between men and gods grows thin. The valley knows war is no longer a threat. It is a certainty! The first sound is not steel. It is the scream of the sky. A single lightning strike splits the valley, a white-hot vein across the heavens. And in that instant, both armies move as if commanded by the storm itself. The enemy unleashes the opening volley. Arrows blacken the air, falling like rain made of shadow. Our shields rise as one, a forest of iron. The sound is deafening. Hundreds of shafts slamming against wood and metal, splintering, piercing, snapping. A few find flesh. A cry pierces the din, sharp and final, but the line holds. Then, our answer. Archers step forward, strings drawn, arms steady. A whistle cuts through the storm, and our arrows soar. They vanish into smoke, then return as screams. Enemy ranks stagger, horses rear. One siege tower halts as fire blossoms along its wooden flank. The storm carries the fire forward, spreading the flame until the machine becomes a beacon of ruin. The ground begins to quake. Chariots surge down the slope, wheels spitting mud. Blades mounted to their hubs, glinting in the stormlight. They plow into our front ranks, splitting shields, shattering bones. Men scatter, but not all. Spears are leveled. One by one, the chariots are caught, overturned, dragged screaming into the muck. Horses scream, warriors tumble. The earth drinks greedily. Closer now! Infantry against infantry! The clash erupts with a sound that swallows all others. Iron striking iron, shield against shield, sword into flesh. The valley becomes a single grinding machine of war. Our line pushes, bends, strains, then holds. Sparks fly as blades scrape against armor. Blood spatters across helmets, dripping into eyes that do not blink. The press of bodies is suffocating. The stench of sweat, smoke, and blood mixes into something primal, something older than language. Through the chaos, horns blare. Enemy reinforcements drive down from the ridges, a flood of fresh troops meant to break our will. Our commander sees. He raises his greatsword high, the blade reflecting lightning in blinding arcs. His voice is lost to the storm, but his gesture is clear. The second line surges forward, a tide crashing into the enemy flanks. Shields smash, spears thrust. The ground becomes a pit where men vanish, swallowed by dust and cries. Then come the beasts. Chains snap as the enemy unleashes them. Massive forms, half hidden in smoke, their hides glowing with firebrands hammered into their flesh. Their eyes gleam brass, their mouths foam with fury. They charge, scattering men like leaves. One crushes three beneath its weight. Another tears through a shield wall with a single sweep of claw. But fear does not reign. Courage rises. Pikes are leveled, torches lit. Flames lick along spearheads dipped in oil. With coordinated fury, our warriors drive the fire into beast flesh. Screams echo, not human, but monstrous. One falls, writhing in the mud, its death throes scattering both armies. Another limps away into the smoke, vanishing, leaving only the smell of charred hide. The battle thickens. Cavalry collide in great arcs of speed and blood. Riders are dragged from saddles. Horses crash into lines of infantry. Blades strike from above and below. A single banner falls. Not ours, not theirs, but one belonging to mercenaries who chose coin over loyalty. The valley swallows it without care. Lightning splits again. For one heartbeat, the entire valley is lit white. And in that frozen moment, you see everything. The twisted faces of men locked in mortal combat. The collapsed siege tower belching smoke. The dead scattered like broken statues. The living pressing forward with mouths wide in silent screams. Then the darkness crashes back, and sound returns like an ocean. Our commander does not yield. He carves through the press, great sword in hand. Each strike sending sparks and blood into the storm. His cloak whips like a banner. His eyes burn brighter than the lightning itself. Around him, the legion rallies. Voices rise above the chaos. Chants, roars, war cries that carry strength where none remains. The valley is no longer ground and sky. It is a crucible. Fire, steel, and storm fuse together, reshaping men into legends or dust. Every heartbeat is a decision. Every breath is borrowed. Every step is a wager with death. And still, we fight. The storm does not end when the last blade falls. It lingers, hanging low over the valley, as if reluctant to leave the dead it has witnessed. The ground is unrecognizable, churned into a red mire, thick with the mingling of blood, rain, and ash. Spears stand broken, banners lie torn, their colors blackened. Smoke coils upward in long, silent ribbons, carrying with it the voices of the fallen. Around us the cries soften, no longer the roar of battle, but the groans of the wounded, the ragged breaths of survivors, the faint sobs of those who search among the bodies. Horses wander riderless, eyes wide with fear, hooves sinking into mud that once was stone. A siege tower burns like a funeral pyre, its flame reflecting in pools of water that gather in the ruts left by war machines. The enemy has shattered. Their banners lie scattered in the dust. Their beasts lie slain. Their engines destroyed. Their war songs silenced. Some flee into the storm, shadows fading into the horizon. Others kneel in surrender, weapons dropped, eyes vacant with the hollow knowledge of defeat. The valley has swallowed their will, and we, the Legion, we stand, bent, scarred, bloodied, but unbroken. Every breath is a victory. Every survivor is proof that resolve can outlast ruin. Brothers and sisters lift one another from the mire, pulling the wounded onto shields, carrying them as though they were kings. Captains speak in hushed tones, their commands no longer sharp but gentle, guiding the weary to rest. Look around you, Legion. See the faces of those who endure. Each scar is a story. Each gaze is a testament. The storm has taken much, but it has not taken us. The Valley of Shattered Crowns will remember this day, for we carved our name into its stone with fire and steel. Our commander lowers his greatsword. The blade, blackened and dripping, sinks into the mud. His helm tilts skyward, glowing eyes dimming to embers. He does not speak. He does not need to. His silence is a roar louder than any horn. A promise that this legion does not bow, does not fade, does not break. And so, we leave the valley, not as men alone, but as legends carried forward by storm and fire. The enemy will tell stories of this day. They will whisper of the clash, of the beasts, of the lightning that crowned the battlefield. They will speak our name with fear, and the world will know. Bellumnoxis, Prime does not fall. Legion, the night of battle has ended, but another will come. Steel your hearts, sharpen your blades, for this war is eternal. Subscribe and join the Legion, for the night of battle has begun.